To do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all.
The Lunch Break with AJ, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at noon Central.
Good Thursday afternoon, family. How are you doing? It's not AJ, it's another. I'm one of his bald brothers, KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. And welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break here, powered by JM&E, streaming to you live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Roku, of course, on the BS3 network, as well as Fire TV. But yes, joining me, hopefully, it will be two folks, one or two people I have lined up. Thank you very much for folks watching on YouTube, on AJ's channel, as well as my channel, the Houston Roundball Review. I want to take a sip from my lovely Houston Roundball Review mug. If you do not have one, I encourage you to get you a mug so you can enjoy your favorite adult beverage at your leisure. The Houston Roundball Review mug is just part of the merch available from the Houston Roundball Review store. Well, we're going to get into it. Let's see here. I'm going to mention this. I'm not sure if I'll do the full hour today. Today is the 1-year anniversary of my mother's passing away. So we'll see how it all plays out, how I do this. She died at 10:15, June 15th, 2022. I was not sure I was going to do a show today. So, but I have one of my friends joining me. I didn't tell her this. So hopefully she's able to join. Looks like she got her hair did. So I'm going to bring her on. How are you, Miss Kennetra Pulliams?
I'm good.
I like your hair.
Thank you. My little summer hair.
Okay, well, this is my summer hair. Summer, winter, fall, spring.
All seasons.
I'm all seasons. It's easy on the pocketbook. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Especially compared to yours, I'm sure. But
hey, you get it done once and you're good for about 6 weeks. And hey.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Taking time out. I know you got a busy schedule. Got a few minutes joining me here on the lunch break. For those who don't know, for folks who are new to you on the lunch break, who is Kennetra Pulliams?
Journalist. I do pregame, postgame for University of Kansas. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus.
Where are you, KP? Because your Wi-Fi is not strong like usual.
Oh, I'm the same place. I'm at home.
That's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no worries. I mean, maybe it'll come in because the show started off kind of slow today. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't done anything weird, and it just gave me a little low signal. I was like, hope it's not a sign of things to come. But anyway, do you recall a few, weeks ago for sure, at this point in time, Kansas had 4 scholarship players. And you said, I think I asked you or something along the lines of, is there any reason for KU fans to panic? And you said, oh, no, of course not. Well, let's fast forward to June 15th, Ms. Pulliams. How are things looking there for KU basketball?
They are, in the words of Jill Scott, living their life like it's golden. They are excited about what they have, what returns, who they signed, who transferred in, who pulled their name out of the NBA draft pool. So I mean, like Bill Self said at the end of the season team banquet that they are going to live in the transfer portal, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, the biggest get was Hunter Dickinson, a true big man, something that KU has been lacking for the past couple of years since Udoka Azubuike went to the league. So they got a very coveted 7-foot athletic, experienced big man in Hunter Dickinson. But that being said, the young big men they had on their roster transferred out. So they didn't want to wait another year to play and learn and develop. So take it what you will, because so there's still kind of a lack in depth in the interior as far as having a rim protector. You have KJ Adams. He is back, from Austin. He played the 5 primarily as, a 6'7" big man. So he'll still be there. He'll probably play more at the 4 and, dispel Hunter Dickinson. You get Arterio Morris transferring in from Texas. Meanwhile, one of KU's big men transferred to TCU, so he'll still be in the Big 12. But Bill Self, Bill Self said, despite all the transfers they got in and all the high school players they signed, the biggest move that was made, or the most valuable move that was made, was Kevin McCullough deciding not to pursue his NBA dreams immediately. He went through senior day and gave the senior day speech and, all that good stuff. But he'll be back. So he's coming back. I mean, outstanding defender. Probably went through the combine, got some feedback, probably said he needs to develop a consistent jump shot. And, so with the pieces they have, I mean, in the backcourt, anchored by DeJuan Harris, I mean, that's solid. And then you have like the 1-2 tandem defensively with DeJuan Harris and Kevin McCullough. Everyone is really excited for the season to start.
I am too, for competitive reasons, because it'll be Houston's first year in the Big 12. Looking forward to, I'm assuming, will be 2 matchups between Houston and KU when the schedule is announced. But we know that December of 2024, a non-conference matchup will take place between Houston and KU as part of Big 12 Mexico. Your thoughts on that?
It depends on your personal feelings towards Brett Yormark. If you like him, if you like what he represents, then you're a big fan of his visionary approach to being commissioner of the Big 12 Conference. If you're a traditionalist and you don't like what he did in his stops prior to arriving in the Big 12, then you're like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Instead of trying to make the Big 12 a international conference or a coast-to-coast conference, all 4 time zones in the U.S., you want to solidify the footprint, in the middle of the country, kind of where, KU, and the Big 12 have been. And so, it just depends. I mean, it doesn't hurt to get more interest in the Big 12, just as long as you don't ignore those who have been with you from the beginning.
Well, where are you in that, in your discussion?
TBD.
All right,
because like really and truly, we know about the violent problems going on with the drug cartels in Mexico. So I don't know how many people you're going to get who are going to travel to Mexico City to see a game between. I mean, you could play this game I don't know, you could play it in Dallas. You could play it, you know, somewhere neutral site in the U.S. and get the Houston fans, the KU fans to come see, because, you know, both the men's and women's teams playing. So you could get this happening. But, you know, trying to go to Mexico City, you know, and then it's not going to count towards the conference standings. It's just going to be a nice, fun game. So
when it was the rumors first came out about possible KU Houston matchup, what was the response you were hearing from folks in Kansas with and around the program, fans or whoever?
I mean, you know, there are those who are unapologetically KU loyalists, and so anything that KU does, they're going to eat up. You know, so like, you know, they can do no wrong. So it depends on, you know, are you looking at the scope of athletics and the scope of college basketball through crimson and blue colored glasses? That determines how you feel about those moves being made.
And reminding everybody, you're tuning in to the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break. I am Chris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Of course, the show is powered by JM&E. AJ Jones, trust me on Thursdays, here to share my thoughts and opinions and insight on sports and hoops. And today, Ms. Kennetra Pulliams from the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is joining me for a few moments, and she covers KU athletics for Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. So UH fans, if you are tuning in to us now, you will see her face on Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. Of course, that assumes you subscribe to the channel, and at some point you might as well. I mean, UH is going to be in the Big 12, so you might as well just spend a few dollars, adjust your budget accordingly, and make it happen so you can see KP do pregame and postgame, right?
Pre and post, yes.
And of course, the postgame for Houston athletics or men's basketball is where me and Andy Yanez will come in as well. So kind of got her. Kennetra kind of inspired us to do something along those lines with postgame that she does for KU. So we're going to do postgame for men's basketball for UH and football as well. Going to take this quick break. This spot, BS3 Network, gives you an idea of what BS3 TV is all about. You're right back in about 90 seconds.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break, powered by JM&E. I'm Chris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review with Miss Kennetra Pulliams. The show is streaming live on Roku on the BS3 Network. If you don't have that app, get the app or just go to bs3network.com. Kennetra.
Yes.
It's June, middle of June. Have student athletes reported to campus to begin their summer workouts.
Yep, they have. They reported last week. They checked into the dorms. Of course, Bill Self was there to meet them and everything. This is before he and assistant coach Curtis Townsend went to Denver for Game 5 of the NBA Finals to root on and support Christian Brown, who becomes just the 5th player in NBA history to win an NCAA championship and an NBA championship in consecutive seasons. So they were there and celebrated with CB, and so now they're back, and workouts will continue. A lot of weightlifting, a lot of conditioning, and summer school.
And for JVG Jeff Van Gundy, it is Brown. Okay, it is Brown, not Braun. It is
Braun.
Christian Brown.
Yeah.
I know Jeff being silly, serious, who knows? But yes, it is Christian Brown, just like it is Bruce Brown. It's just spelled differently. But
so his connection, or the Brown family connection, continues with KU as his older brother Parker has transferred in to KU. He's one of the other transfers in. He played first couple of years at Mizzou, where Lisa Brown, their mom, went to school, and then he went to Santa Clara for a couple of seasons, and now he's transferred into KU. So we will see the Brown family back in the stands at Allen Fieldhouse.
Very, very cool. Fall. And see, I believe this has been from BS3 Network. Really cool for Christian right there to be one of 5, as you noted, to win an NBA title 1 year after winning an NCAA title. You know the other 4? I know. Okay.
I know Henry Bibby, Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
And I want to say Oscar, but I know those 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Magic and Henry Bibby. But it's a rare accomplishment. So very cool that he got that done. UK use a blue blood. UH is blue collar. Any talk of from Coach Self, anybody on staff, just, I'm looking forward to Houston joining the conference. Anything of that? Any conversation like that so far?
I haven't talked to them directly, and I'm sure they're going to say all the right things publicly. Anything that strengthens the conference is great. Because KU is the hunted, and when you have a team, the caliber of team, caliber of program that Kelvin Sampson is building at U of H, when you add that to the Big 12 conference, it makes the conference stronger. It makes the conference, it's already considered the strongest basketball conference in the country. And so now you add another team, in U of H. I mean, that's great. That makes for more viewers, more subscribers, hopefully, for games that are streamed on Big 12 Now, ESPN Plus. And so, we look forward to adding another credible, competitive team.
And I know fans out there, oh yeah, but UConn won the Big East. The Big East is the best conference, blah, 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 blah. Top to bottom.
Yeah.
Be objective. Top to bottom. Big 12 men's basketball is clearly better than the Big East.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. And lo and behold, Kennetra, there's rumors, discussions about UConn possibly joining the Big 12.
Oh, well, UConn will be in Allen Fieldhouse this upcoming season, with a non-conference game. That's done. That was before any of the talk about membership has its privileges. So you get the reigning national champions as a non-con game, as a non-conference game in Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence. Come on, I mean that's a huge get. And yeah, so you get do you get UConn in all sports as a Big 12 member? Do you get Gonzaga as basketball only? How does that work? So we'll see what happens, but that's back to Brett Yormark's visionary approach to things and adding another team from the East Coast, Northeast, it makes a better travel partner with West Virginia. Bob Huggins has expressed many times about just how tough it is and how challenging it is for West Virginia having to come to the central time zone. Well, now you add mountain time zone with BYU. Cincinnati, yeah, it makes sense. It makes it a lot easier, especially for the Olympic sports. Those that play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, having to, get out of class. And, if you want to add Gonzaga, you're like having to span 3 time zones for a Mountaineer team or UCF even to have to go from, Orlando to Washington, to Spokane, or to Provo, Utah. I mean, that's real. That's tough, especially for, because you have not many of the basketball players are pre-med or,
Right.
really intensive things. So when you have pre-law or any of those things, so when you have some of the other sports and those athletes pursuing, finance degrees, and they're having to miss 3 days of classes, that's tough.
And I'm playing devil's advocate,
Okay.
even though I refer to the student athletes as student assets way, way more than student athletes. 21st century, well, heck, 2023, aren't more and more classes done online rather than in the actual building classroom? So
Yeah.
isn't that part of it easier for the players to get their classwork
Sure.
done, all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff?
and you have the academic advisors and you have the tutors traveling, with the team, to be able to proctor exams, so that, yes, that is there with the advances in technology, there are still ways to do things. The hard part is like when you have labs that you have to do, that you kind of have to be present for. That's a tough thing. But as far as a lecture or writing a paper or taking a test, I mean, yeah, that can all be done virtually. We learned that during the pandemic. It can be done off site and still be done. I mean, another strong academic showing, for KU across the entire spectrum of all of their sports. I mean, they set a new GPA semester record, so yeah, they're not slacking by any means just because they're not in the classroom every day for every class.
What is, if you know off the top of your head, if it's been announced at KU by KU, their numbers for football for season tickets sold thus far?
I have not seen. I know that Lance Leipold and his staff have been very busy already locking up recruits and commitments, for 2024. Right now, KU football is ranked number 3 in the Big 12 as far as commitments. Just this week, they got a 4-star DB, a 3-star DB. They have a strong connection with the state of Michigan. There's a really, that pipeline from Michigan down to Lawrence is really flowing very swiftly. And they're really being able to expand the interest, the landscape. They're, picking up another kid from California. So they're not just limiting their attention and their pursuit to players just kind of in this in the Midwest or in the region. They're going coast to coast. They're going north to south, picking up kids from Texas as well. So they're very active and they're getting some early strong returns.
Are you a voter for the Big 12 preseason polls and stuff?
I'm not.
You're not? Why not? Don't they know who you are?
Your opinion of me and their opinion of me are different.
Well, because I got the ballot, the email to be to vote, and I'm leaning very strongly to not having the Texas Longhorns quarterback on my first team ballot, going with a certain man who ran over Houston last year before he got injured. You know what I'm referring to? You cover him all the time in KU football.
Jalen Daniels?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to be my first team quarterback. I'm not sure where I'm going to slot KU in terms of team overall,
Mhm.
But I just enjoy the fact I got a ballot, because I'm branching out, maybe because of this, the lunch break, and not just a hoops person. So I thought that was a big deal. I get to vote for football for Big 12. I never got
You're a
that in the American. Go figure.
multi-sport journalist.
So as you refer to it as your idea, I'm the chef here on the lunch break, the head chef, right?
There you go.
And
I'm
you're
just the sous.
you're
I'm
a
the
sous
sous chef.
right? What are your thoughts?
On
UConn as a full member in the Big 12. Do you think it makes sense?
I mean, it make geographically, being that UConn is the only Big East member with a football team. Yeah, it makes sense. It's great in terms of basketball. What the UConn women and Gino Auriemma, what they bring. I mean, that brand in and of itself. Paige Buckets is close to making her return and being fully healthy. And then, of course, the men winning a national championship. So you have Danny Hurley. So you have, really legendary coaches right there. And, so they'd be competitive. I mean, football was a feel-good story, kind of like KU this year, and they're making strides and they're progressing. So, bring them in. And like I said, so you can kind of have UCF and West Virginia, and, UConn and Cincinnati, kind of in that East Coast time zone, so that would work. I think it's just hard, and then we know that Brett Gormark isn't done,
right?
In trying to expand Big 12 membership, so we'll see who else he does Colorado happen? Does Arizona State happen? Who does Gonzaga have? It depends on kind of what that new landscape looks like. We already see that Texas has already announced its SEC schedule for 2024. We haven't even played 2023 season yet. So
the thing, what are your thoughts on this? Ultimate this expansion, Big 10, SEC, even the Big 12 to 24 members. That's not a conference. Okay. That's two conferences, disguised as one. 20 or 24 teams. I'm just like, let's be real, folks. This is ridiculous. Right. So Brady Mark talked about going to with UConn, with the Zags, with Arizona, Colorado, whoever, getting to 20 teams, 24.
Right.
So that's really just, you'll have an East Division and a West Division. But you're still going to say you're one conference. No, you're not. Right. You're not going to. There'll be, 12 teams you won't play. You may play once in 6 years.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
No. I mean, there is, I believe, such thing as getting too big for your britches.
Yes. Kennetra, last moment, I know you said you got to leave it at the bottom of the hour, and if that has not changed, let me know. You can stay on longer if you can.
I have to go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just last thing, how can folks find you on social media, and what are your thoughts on Zion Williamson being traded?
Oh, Zion. He is. Zion's been in the news a lot last couple of weeks.
For different reasons, yes.
Bless his heart.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm gonna leave that one alone. He just, he needs to, and this goes for a lot of professional athletes, be more discerning in who they associate themselves with, and realize their personal associations affect their professional careers. But I can be found on Twitter at @Pulliams, and that's where you can find me.
Thank you, Queen. I appreciate it very much, and we'll keep in touch. And I will pester you throughout the summer to invite
Sounds
you
good.
on for other appearances here on the lunch break. But thank you very much, and you take care.
Take care.
Kennetra Pulliams joining me on here, the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break, powered by JM&E. I am KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review, local name Global Perspective. You're watching the show, the lunch break, on Roku, on the BS3 network. If you don't have the app, get the app. Go to the website, bs3network.com. The lunch break is also available on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Fire TV as well, and also Facebook. Salute to wise citizens. Thank you very much for watching on YouTube and always your support. But what's up with this? What is this? LSU. They're in the news. They got, I think LSU is going to vote on some renovations for the women's basketball program, the champs. We're going to get a locker room, new lockers and things like that in time for the upcoming season. Boy, that must be nice, man. For like $1.5 million and get it done in time for the fall season starting in November. That's 5 months. Boy, $1 million, you win and you're the queen of the mountain. You can do things like that. So salute to them. Look forward to seeing if they can repeat. They're a team to beat for sure with Angel Reese and Anissa Morrow and all the other talent over there, and Flau'jae Johnson, and of course, Coach Kim Mulkey, who ironically, I spoke with and interviewed Rice Owls women's basketball coach Nick Grant earlier today. The interview was posted on YouTube, on Houston Roundball Review on YouTube. And I asked Coach Grant if he's been in coaching now about 12 years, his third year now at Rice, starting now, this coming season, third year, if he always wanted to be a coach. He said no. He was honest and said no. And the person who put the coaching bug in his ear was none other than Kim Mulkey. So go figure that. When he was at Baylor, Kim Mulkey put the coaching bug in Nick Grant's ear. So he went from A&M, video coordinator, grad assistant, all those things, to San Diego State for 7 years, to now this will be his third year at Rice. But Coach Kim Mulkey put the bug in Rice's Nick Grant's ear to get into coaching. So how about that? Tony M, no worries. Going to take a break and come back. We're going to talk Rockets. And I'm going to give Tony M some grief because he got his prediction wrong. And I got my prediction right regarding the NBA Finals. So when I'm right, it's rare. I got to toot my horn. So we'll be back in about 70 seconds. This from my man Cole Johnson and Cole Sports with a Z.
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor,
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
that pulls no punches,
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
that gives you some humor,
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
if you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Go Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets.
Welcome back to the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break, powered by JM&E. I am KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review, and proud to say son of Elizabeth Carolyn McAfee Gardner. May she rest in peace. 1 year ago today, my mom passed away, so I'm doing this show in her honor because I know she wanted me to keep on keeping on. So that's what I'm doing. These last 20 minutes or so, roughly, talk some Rockets, talk rumors. But first things first, me, Willie Gibson, and Andy Yanez, the cast and crew of Folks Talking Sports, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, Mr. Gibson, on the Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, predicted the Denver Nuggets would beat Miami in 5 games. We got it right. That's after, of course, I got it really wrong about picking Boston over the Heat in 7. One person who did not get it right, Tony M. right here. Tony picked the Heat. I think he picked the Heat in 7. But it's all good. I'm just giving him some grief because I gave him credit after Miami won game 2 because Denver's defense was garbage in game 2. And the Heat said thank you very much, took advantage of it, and scored the most points they scored all series in that one game. And that was one game they won. Go figure. But reminder for those who are new to the lunch break and no, to the Houston Roundball Review, get your Houston Roundball Review mug. Check it out. Tag should be in the link in the description of this video on YouTube at Houston Roundball Review. Support me to borrow from head coach Kelvin Sampson to help me keep hitting that rock. Keep hitting that rock. Keep pressing on, pressing forward, providing content via the Houston Roundball Review's many platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for now, as long as TikTok remains an option for us here in the States. But I digress. Saw this before today's show on the lunch break. Guys at The Athletic. We all know it. Brad Beal, guard for the Wizards. He and his representation, his agents, are open to discussing with the Wizards possible trade destinations for Brad Beal. Why are they doing all this? Because Brad Beal is the only player in the NBA with a no trade clause. So he can truly dictate to the Wizards where he wants to go. And the trade really about, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there either. No, not really. No. But seriously, he is the only NBA player with a no trade clause. You can say, well, Kevin Durant got a lot of weight. These superstars have a lot of weight, a lot of pull. Where they want to go, yes, they do. But keep in mind with those players, even if they could get traded, now whether they decide to play for that new team will be on them. But with Bradley Beal and the no trade clause, Bradley Beal can say right up front, yeah, no, I'm not going there. not going to Dallas. No. Which makes me wonder why so many folks are spending time, I think wasting time, about possibilities. And one of those possible destinations for Mr. Beal, Tony, wise citizens, the Houston Rockets. Saw it on The Athletic. The Rockets as a potential destination trade partner for the Wizards. Bradley Beal, right, got all this cap room. Clearly, they have $60 million in cap space, roughly. Acquire Brad Beal. This is one of 7 trade scenarios they discussed. Pie in the sky. This is just way pie in the sky, obviously. But your thoughts on it? Bradley Beal to the Rockets for just fit him in the cap space, because they could do that. And just in return, they tossed out a name because, like I said, they don't have to do much in return. It could be a pick or whatever. Tari Eason. So Brad Beal comes to the Rockets. Tari Eason goes to the Wizards, and maybe Tari in the 20th pick, maybe. The guys didn't think it had a chance in hell of happening, but just put it out there for discussion, like what I'm doing right now. But my question, Rocket fans, folks watching on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Roku, on the BS3 network, would you even want Bradley Beal on the Rockets? And Tony says, with the quickness, oh no. I think that's referencing the part about including Tari Eason in the trade, but you could have picked any Rocket to go back to the Wizards. Hell, it could have been Jayshawn Tate, whatever. But a pairing of Alperen Şengün with Bradley Beal. Would that make sense? Would it make sense from a basketball standpoint? It's not going to happen. Let me be clear. It's not happening. No way in hell. Because with the no trade clause that Brad has, he wouldn't consider come to the Rockets for squat. No way in. What's to go up to him and say, hey, yo, man, we're considering trading to the Rockets. Well, you can stop because that ain't happening. So no. But Tony M., what do you think? Wise citizens, any folks watching on Twitter, on YouTube, Facebook, what do you think? What is even just from a basketball standpoint? Tony scraps like what? Like I think I know one of the scraps. Daisha Nix, maybe. I mean, possibly, because if the Wizards, and they're considering trading Bradley Beal, okay? Considering it. Because they're trying to stop being mediocre. They're not, as long as Beal is there, they're not going to be a top 4 team in the East. But as long as he's there, they'll be in the middle of the pack in the East. So they won't be Detroit Pistons bad, 17 wins bad, bottom out bad, which teams really need to do, if you believe that route, to enhance your chances of getting a top 5 pick. So would the Wizards first decide and do a trade for Bradley Beal, or be stuck like the Blazers and Dame Lillard and just be blah? No chance to be a champion, be 8, 9, 10, play-in team territory every year. After a while, fans are tired of that because, Bradley Beal's contract, he's got 4 or 5 years left on his contract. So Tony likes Bradley Beal, but Tony, Brad Beal and Jalen Green, who would you rather have? That trade, I see the Wizards. Like I said, the Wizards make a trade like this, they could do it if they had more power and leverage. But they don't. Bradley Beal says, no, I'm not going to the Rockets. No, that trade, I'm not approving that trade. So, and Tony says, he might even trade the pick for Bradley Beal. So he likes Brad Beal as a player, but also, Tony, Beal hasn't played more than 60 games in 4 years, in a season, in 4 years. So is that a good thing with him going forward for the next 4 years? The only teams I think Mr. Beal would consider and approve of being dealt, Miami, everyone's discussing that one. Golden State, maybe. But who would you want if you're the Wizards? Would you want Jonathan Kuminga, Jordan Poole? Would that make sense for the Wizards to bottom out and be bad, top 5 bad? Or would they be too good and make you middle of the pack bad, which defeats the purpose if you want to rebuild, do the full tear it down, rebuild kind of thing? So points of discussion right there. Bradley Beal, the other rumor, and folks who know me, follow me on platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, etc. Well, YouTube and Twitter. I've maintained for quite a while. I've covered basketball for a long time. Most of the trade rumors that you hear, see, read, that are leaked to the public never get done. Never happen, especially the way you see it tweeted out, reported, leaked, whatever. The deals that do get done are the ones that are kept quiet. Latest example, the Nuggets deal trade with OKC. Some folks didn't know a deal could be done while the finals were going on. Yeah, that happens. It can happen. The Nuggets made a trade because it did not involve any of the players on their current roster, so they could do that. But there's no rumors, leaks about that trade taking place. But all this stuff, these rumors, Şengün being dealt, Zion, all these rumors and stuff. Tony, what about that? Would you want? What's the one? Is it Rockets Twitter or Pelicans Twitter? LP for Zion Williamson. Is that a rumor being out there? All kinds of stuff tossed out there. I don't know if fans or folks are bored or just doing it for clicks or just trying to drum up interest to their platforms as well. Who knows? But hey, NBA draft is 1 week away. Rockets currently have the 4th pick and the 20th pick. Depending on the day and the source, signs point to the Rockets selecting Amen Thompson at 4. And then most likely trading the 20th pick. The 20th pick might be the Rockets might pick and select that 20, but then trade that pick, the rights to that pick, to another team. That's how things look now. But more and more folks believe adamantly that the draft, the fun, will begin with the Rockets at 4. Because we all know the Spurs are taking Wemby. And I saw something about the Spurs were considering entertaining offers of trading Wemby, the number 1 pick, for a veteran. Please. I didn't bother reading the article. I just saw the headline and I'm like, is a veteran Luka? I mean, what other? Come on, folks. The Spurs are not trading a generational talent for anybody in the NBA. Hell, Steph. I mean, no, please. But I digress on all those things. Wise citizens, Rockets fan here, saying Rockets better not mess this up. How would they mess it up, in your opinion? What do you think would be a mess up, be a mistake, if the Rockets did what? If the Rockets drafted who at 4? Who would be a mistake, in your opinion? Who was it? Some fans thought drafting Amen would be a mistake because of the OTE level of competition. It's not very good. It's not G League level, G League caliber. And his shot is still broken. Oh yeah, I forgot about this talk too. This to the Kyrie to the Rockets. If James Harden does not come to the Rockets, Kyrie, the Rockets, per Mark Stein, are weighing the option of going after Kyrie and signing him in free agency. Why? Why would Kyrie want to come to the Rockets? At least he want to get paid, and that's it. Kyrie's like James Harden in that sense. Neither one of them will make the Rockets championship contender. No, neither one of them. neither one of them will make the Rockets. They might get them to sniff the play-in next year. I even doubt that. That sounds like almost like a 20-win improvement. But time will tell. Tony, I always count on Tony and his anti-Harden return to the Rockets talk. Tony does not want James Harden here. Well, you should be thrilled with what Stephen A. Smith said earlier this week, that as soon as that the Rockets are not going to sign James, that the Rockets would consider signing James to a 2-year deal. Anything beyond that, they're not doing it. It's kind of lessens James's leverage. Stephen A. also talked about one of the reasons that James wanted to go to Philly was because of Daryl Morey. Rockets at that time weren't going to allow that to happen once Daryl left for Philly. So James said, okay, well, I'll go to Brooklyn instead. That kind of stuff. Well, Daryl Morey is still in Philly. Daryl Morey is one of the guys, one of the main guys to let James do whatever the hell James wanted to do. So as long as Morey's still in Philly, why would James want to leave his favorite guy? I have words that I want to use, but I'm not going to say them here. So James, as long as Tillman, and until he doesn't, I still have my doubts and concerns. But as long as Tillman doesn't waver and say, hey, I want to sign James to a 4-year max deal. As long as he doesn't do that, I think the Rockets will be okay. I think they'll be okay. I don't believe James Harden should come back to the Rockets. I don't think the Rockets should take James Harden. But I would tolerate if it's a 2-year deal. 2-year deal. I would tolerate it and understand it. Beyond that, no. Nope. The Morey stuff, the discussions, the leaks happened in December about a possible Harden return to the Rockets. And then they died down quickly in January. I think Mr. Morey has something to do with those talks dying down, because Mr. Morey's like, well, James and Rockets, that sounds like some tampering there. So no, yeah, that's not happening. I'm not going to allow that. So time will tell. I feel more at ease just in the last few days that Tillman won't go 4 years max and will listen to his people in the front office. I hope that is the case. I hope he listens to them rather than his gut, because if he goes by his gut, then the Rockets will be in trouble. But Kyrie, no James Harden. Tony M, would you want Fred VanVleet to be the Rockets' veteran point guard? Would he be a better acquisition, better signing for the Rockets to help them win, to improve, to establish the culture and all those buzzwords going forward? Could he work well under Coach Udoka? Would Fred be the guy that Rocket fans would be good with? Or just draft Amen Thompson at 4 and let young fellow work through his mistakes? Would have him, KPJ, Jalen Green figure it out? Is that okay? So I think I'm kind of leaning with Tony on this. Moore's going to pay James what he wants. Yeah. Which would continue what Morey allowed James to do here in Houston. So he's enabling James to do those things. So Tony's okay with Fred, good team player. Final moment here before I close it out with the segment, What You Need to Know from Miss Sybil Wilkes. Reminder, you are watching The Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. Thanks to Miss Kennetra Pulliams from Big 12 Now and ESPN Plus for joining me in the first half of the show. My second guest was unable to join me, so you're seeing me close it out solo these last 20 minutes or so of the show. But I can do that. As Rocket fans know, I can talk an hour solo with fans, hour, 2 hours. I do that every Saturday on the Let's Talk Houston Rockets. So ain't nothing but a thing for me to do that. I can do that. I learned that from my mentor, Ralph Cooper. Ralph can talk on his feet 2, 3, 4 hours talking sports. So it's not hard for me to do. I can do it. And especially I was going to get it done today. As throughout the show, I got stronger and stronger to get it done in memory of my mom, who passed away 1 year ago today, June 15th, 2022. So got that call. She passed away 10/15 last year, June 15th, 2022. So 1 year ago, doing a show today, I was going to get it done. I was going to find a way to get it done. She fought, battled health issues. Her final days, I took care of her best I could. And in the end, it was just her time to go. So she's in a better place. And I'm here grinding, trying to get it done. Trying to keep hitting that rock, as Coach Kelvin Sampson says. Support the Houston Roundball Review with some merch. Buy some merch. Links on the website, links on the YouTube channel. Support the Houston Roundball Review to help me keep hitting that rock. Next month, roughly 4 weeks, I will be in Arlington, Texas at Big 12 Football Media Day. Yep, that's right. Football Media Day. Houston Roundball Review, more than hoops. I'm going to submit my ballot for the Big 12 football votes, teams, etc. Probably tomorrow. I'm finishing that up. But as always, to Tony M, wise citizens, everybody watching, especially AJ, for giving me the platform to talk with you guys on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku, on the BS3 Network. I am KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Everybody take care, Rocket fans. See you Saturday. Peace.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Friday Eve, Thursday, if you will, June 15th, 2023. Number 1, the Indianola, Mississippi police officer who shot an 11-year-old African-American boy last month was recently suspended without pay. The town's Board of Aldermen voted 4-1 Monday night to change the status of the African-American Sergeant Greg Capers in the shooting of Adarian Murray. The family's lawyer, Carlos Moore, said Sergeant Capers yelled into the house and said anyone inside should come out with their hands up when Adarian walked into the living room, arms in the air, with nothing in his hands. Sergeant Capers shot the boy immediately, hitting him in the chest. Adarian was hospitalized for 5 days with a collapsed lung, lacerated liver, and fractured ribs. Number 2, a survey conducted by the NORC at the University of Chicago and the nonprofit group Starts with the U.S. reveals that when asked about core values, including fairness, compassion, and personal responsibility, about 9 in 10 Democrats and Republicans agreed that they were very or extremely important. The findings reflect a phenomenon known as affective polarization, in which disagreements are based on animosity and a lack of trust instead of actual debate over values or policy. The number of factors are cited as possible causes for an increase in the division, including the decline and fragmentation of legitimate news sources, politicians who stoke distrust, and social media platforms that spread misinformation while too often sorting users into echo chambers where they seldom encounter an imposing view. Number 3, the What You Need to Know newsletter breaks down the biggest health risk for men by giving healthy tips. For instance, don't smoke. If you do smoke or use other tobacco products, ask your doctor to help you quit. Eat a healthy diet. Choose those vegetables, fruit, whole grains, high fiber foods, and lean sources of protein, such as fish. Check out today's newsletter for other tips. Number 4, Dalen Thorne, a 7th grade student at Calvary Baptist School in Slidell, Louisiana, told his mother the principal pulled him aside and asked if his cornrowed braids represented him being a gangster. The next day, Dalen's parents met with Angeline Messman, the school's principal, and recorded their 16-minute conversation, confirming the questionable assumptions she made about Dalen. Dalen's parents have not yet decided whether they will file a lawsuit, but have decided to transfer their rising 8th grader to a different school this fall. Number 5, Ms. Astrology is back in the What You Need to Know newsletter and discussing how to prepare for cancer season. Cancer is all about nurturing, setting roots, and tending to what is grounded and secure. This is a time for home and children. We tend to spend plenty of time outside during Gemini season, only to go back inside during Cancer season. So feel free to go somewhere and sit down. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Sometimes we don't know how much we love someone or something until we lose it. Be present. All right. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with our mental health and wellness contributor, Aprilette Russell, and Ms. Astrology as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed. Be empowered.